You know why you need an AOS? Just take a look at this. Oh my goodness, that's disgusting. Today we're gonna be doing an IAG AOS and headlight install and an 08 to 14 WRX hatch. I don't know what year it is, so I'm not gonna say it. I know you guys are gonna roast me in the comment section. And this is another shop POV video, but there's gonna be no voiceovers here on this video. If you guys enjoy the live commentary more, let me know down below. But you guys already know, with Monday through Friday being the main shop days, it gets really loud in here, music plays, etc., 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 like the other video. So that's why we have the voiceovers. And if you notice, it is my first day here alone here in the shop. I repeated myself, but you guys know what I'm saying. Now, Jordan trusts me enough. I've been working my ass off here, and I guess it's been paying off. So we're gonna keep doing good work. We're gonna keep paying attention to details, and we're gonna jump right into the install. Now, the focus of the video, like I said, is gonna be the IAG AOS. This is a Street Series AOS. It is a fantastic unit. I have this AOS personally in my 2017 STI over there, but the competition series. And here are the headlights. I've never heard of these. These are KHC headlights. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into the fun install first, which is gonna be the headlights, taking off the front bumper. And you guys can see these headlights. They're very ugly, let's just say that. So these headlights, I have no idea what they're gonna look like. I have no idea about the lighting output, which we'll have a general idea of in the back of this Evo 10 here. But yeah, should be a fun install, should be a fun day, and let's get going. Oh man, I know exactly which ones these are. These are gonna look freaking fire compared to the OEM ones. Don't get me wrong, especially as someone that has OEM headlights and tail lights on my setup. Dude, aftermarket ones, especially these are gonna be freaking awesome, especially the C-Light. On all Subarus, when it comes down to removing the front bumper, it's literally as simple as just removing a bunch of these clips all around the bumper, as well as the underneath of the car, which kind of is annoying depending on what it is. And you guys will see me using a flathead. I use a flathead on my personal car. Does not ruin anything, does not damage anything. You just have to be very careful. Obviously, don't use a ton of force. The front bumper should now be able to just come right off. Just like that, and we'll put this thing over here. Man, it is so much nicer to be doing stuff here. We got so much freaking room now. It is literally ridiculous. It's time to finally throw the headlights on, and I'm sure this is gonna look amazing. I've had similar headlights on the VA over there, but yeah, I've never owned an 08 to 14, but that was one car I was considering at some point. All right, so you guys heard the click. That's what you want. That is all good to go there. Now, I just want to show you guys something which is really cool. I did take the wire wheel to the old hardware, and look how nice and shiny the hardware looks like. This is what you want to do, man. You want to take pride in what you do. You don't want to deliver a crappy product to a customer. You want to make sure they leave happy. And, you know, if there is some type of issue, you know, just talk to them. They're people after all. So I have it aligned right now. And then one thing I want to mention, when you install headlights, or rather when I install headlights, one thing I've learned is you always want to pay attention to this corner where the headlight meets the fender. You want to make sure things are lined up in the holes. And then I always like to just start the threads with the bolts here. Man, it looks so good. I haven't fully installed them. I still need to torque them down here, but I already love this side a lot more. Let's do a quick comparison. And look at the difference. I mean, you can already tell this one obviously looks a lot clearer compared to the old one. This does use a halogen bulb. My old ones, when I had my white WRX, I used a similar one, like an Acon style one. They also came with halogen bulbs. On that model, they can replace it, but I don't think you can on this one. But either way, I'm sure the customer is gonna be very happy with his new headlights. We have to move forward and do the IAG AOS install. It should be really straightforward, very similar to the STI over there. And something I do want to mention I did off camera, just did some wire management with zip ties for the headlights, as well as swap the old bulbs from the old headlights to these new ones. I've already gone ahead and removed a lot of the things that you would typically remove, like the car's top mount intercooler, just to gain access to some of the PCV hoses. So I'm probably around step 7 out of 32. If you are following along with the PDF, I will link down below in the description. We want to disconnect the bypass valve from this little tube. And by the way, if you don't have these pliers, these are the IG hose clamp pliers. I bought them on Amazon. These are around $30. I highly recommend them, especially if you do a lot of work on Subarus. I'll try to explain this as best as possible. So on Subarus, you have ports on the valve covers, which are on the head. So on this side and this side, as well as the middle of the block, there are the front ports on the valve cover. Those are PCV breather ports. They run from this side across the block. They meet in the middle to the PCV breather that's going to be here, which we'll get into, I'm sure, later on in the video. And then it runs all the way to this side as well. And again, they are the closest port to you if you're standing right here in front of the engine bay. So we're going to need to disconnect that hose from the passenger side, and it is this guy right here, but we are specifically removing this thing. So this thing and this thing. And these are really good pliers to have during the install, I should have mentioned. So you have a straight, a 45 degree, a 90 degree, and then these are pliers in case you want to disconnect the hose and wiggle it if that hose is not coming off. And now we get to do the same thing to the driver's side valve cover. So we'll move this thing out of the way, and it is this hose we need to disconnect that goes to this PCV connection down there. So now it's telling us to remove this hose right here from the PCV connection down there. And it's usually some type of crimp or locking clamp, but this one looks like it's a butterfly clamp. So we'll just do the same, get some pliers here and then pull that off, and then we'll free this up. You know why you need an AOS? Just take a look at this. Oh my goodness, that's disgusting. This next one is not going to be very fun, but let me show you exactly where it's going to be. So we're going to need to remove a vacuum line, and that vacuum line happens to be, let's see, the center of the manifold here behind this big little piece. Then there is this port here that is for the brake booster, and then we have this hose here that is braided. It is going to be this vacuum line that is down there. It is kind of dusty. It's the one that my index finger is hitting right now. That is the thing we're going to need to remove. And that port right there without the vacuum hose, that is what we removed, and that line is now hanging out right here. So hopefully that gives you guys a better idea of what I removed. But if you guys have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comments. If you're following along with the instructions from IAG on the video or the instructions on the PDF, they will now say you need to disconnect the block breather port, which sits right here. It doesn't explicitly tell you to disconnect this harness, but you do have to. We'll jump into that, but first I'm gonna finish off this side. I mean, that is their next step. I just find it weird that they go here, then there. I mean, it really doesn't matter the order you do things in to some extent, but to me it just makes sense since we're kind of working on this side right now. I'm gonna finish this off. So I'm gonna clean the inside of this. You don't necessarily have to. I'm gonna take one of their supplied vacuum caps, put it onto here. It's a 5/8 cap, and then we'll put a 5/8 hose clamp on top of this guy. And then this should finish off this portion of the driver's side valve cover area for now, at least. Now for the block breather, I'm on the passenger side of the car, and this is what I was referring to. It is this thing all the way down there. So we need to disconnect this harness right there. We're gonna need to undo this hose clamp that's right there, and possibly the one that's right below it. And once we do that, we should be able to pull it straight out. And this is the block breather in all its glory, and it's oriented like this, and this is why we needed to pull the vacuum hose off that intake manifold right there in the back port. Now, let me give you a pro tip. As far as removing this breather with this clamp here, I did not loosen this guy. It's gonna be very hard to do so while it's in the engine bay. What you need to do is grab a set of pliers like this. These are 45 degrees. Grab it from the inside here, just like that, and then just violently tug up in one straight motion, and that should yank it off. You might need to maybe spray some silicone lubricant down there. I didn't need to, but you can definitely remove this in one whole piece. And now we'll take this piece and throw it back onto here, which is the breather that is right behind the intake manifold, and that sits kind of behind the coolant expansion tank here. This dude is finally on there. Oh my goodness, that was pretty difficult even for me. Now let's keep going and do the block breather. This big thing, this is gonna be our block breather hose. We're gonna take some lube, we're going to slide it over like this, and then we're gonna take 2 of these crimping clamps, and we're gonna slide them over. We're gonna tighten the top one that goes to this guy, and then we're gonna leave this one loose. We're gonna throw it onto the block, and then once it's on the block, we'll tighten the lower one, and we'll be good to go. have the block breather down there installed with both of the clamps on there, and that is how you want to orient it. You want the Y branch right here to go facing this way towards the firewall, because there is a bracket here that we're going to feed a hose through, and that is going to go onto this fitting here. Now we can go on to this wiring. This is the main harness for the bulkhead connector. I've already removed it off this tab when I was trying to, I was gonna say diddle, but fiddle around with some stuff. Now we just gotta get that tab off so this thing can get free. And I'm guessing we're gonna remove this bracket because this is where we're gonna mount the AOS. All the AOSs get mounted on the passenger side strut tower right here. Now we will pinch off this lower coolant line that goes to the turbo. We will disconnect this line momentarily. I already disconnected it earlier when I was fiddling around with this guy, the PCV breather. Now we'll pull that off, and then we will reconnect a hose from this guy, the lower portion of the can, which that's where coolant runs through, into this guy, which is the expansion tank. So we're gonna grab our heater hose. This is what is rated for coolant. So we're gonna run this and connect it to the bottom port right there of the can. It is the bottom most left port, the one that's currently right here. And then we'll snake it underneath this harness, and then we will measure, cut to length here. We'll insert it, and we'll put our new clamp on, secure it, and then it's done. Now we shall take our last 1/2-inch heater hose here. This is another shorty. We will grab this guy and put it into the middle port of the can on the bottom. And then that line pretty much goes along the way that this line goes to the coolant expansion tank. And this line in my hand is gonna be replacing this going here, the upper turbo coolant hose. And then this is the OEM one, because the OEM one originally went from the turbo to the expansion tank. And now we're pretty much doing a loop. We're going from the radiator, going to the expansion tank, going through here. Then it's gonna go from the AOS to the turbo. And then that's how we're going to essentially complete the circuit. This next step kind of sucks. So we're gonna take this long hose on the rightmost bottom port of the AOS there. This guy, we installed the 12-inch heat sleeve as per instructed. Now we get to rotate this out of the way just to show you. So there is this bracket that hose needs to essentially sit through, or fit through, I should say. And it's kind of a pain, if I remember correctly. I have not done one of these AOSs on a stock car in a very, very long time. But essentially, you're going to need to mock it up, trim to length, and then that thing is going to have to fit on the fitting right there, and that is the Y branch of the block breather. So we'll take this hose, we'll put it over here. There we go. You hear that click? That's what you want. And now this is going to go right on top of the Y breather that goes onto the block. Now for the longest hose out of the box, this is going to be the 38-inch hose. This is going to be for your valve cover breather on the driver's side here. And it's long because it needs to reach from back there where the AOS is all the way to the valve cover here on the driver's side. So this is going to go onto the topmost port up here, run across the AC line underneath the brake booster, and then it's going to plumb into this port here. And then we're going to segue this from the AOS into this port back here, the OEM hose that goes to the valve cover. And remember guys, the valve cover breathers are the ones closest to you if you're looking at the engine. The ones that are behind or furthest away, the ones in the back, are the ones that meet in the middle underneath the intake manifold for the PCV block breather port. Now we're gonna grab this hose that has a bigger diameter to a smaller diameter hose. It's kind of a step down here. This guy is gonna go to the top rightmost port. I am gonna skip a little bit ahead. We're not doing this hose that goes in the middle and finishing off the side ports. We're just gonna go ahead and do this one. This is gonna go to the back of the intake manifold for vacuum. Now we only have 3 hoses left. We have 2 with 90 degrees, which are gonna be for the top port, but we're gonna go back and finish off that side port right there. So we're gonna grab this last long straight hose, and then we're gonna lubricate it just like we did the others. We're gonna run it from here on the middle port. We're gonna run it this way. We're gonna loop it right there by the turbo, and then this guy should be connecting to our valve cover, which is right here. This guy goes all the way down to the front valve cover port on the passenger side head. And then we can finish off these, which are gonna be super simple, which funny enough, we just have to chop these off, and then we just have to route them to their appropriate places, one being right there, and then one being here. This one we struggled with earlier. It's gonna go right behind the coolant expansion tank. And then all we have left to do is reassemble the car, which you guys honestly are not gonna see. It's gonna be pretty straightforward. But one piece of advice I do wanna give you before we just finish off this video and you guys just see me work, is when you reconnect the barometric pressure sensor, which is gonna be right there, it's gonna seem impossible to get to that spot considering we have the new connection down there. What you wanna do is you want to play with this guy. You wanna just keep it going like this, put your thumb there, and then just squeeze. There's gonna be enough room where that sensor can go back into its original spots. So now that I've given you guys all the details, let's get going. My goodness, it's been a long day, but that is going to wrap up the IAG AOS install and the headlight install for this 2010 to 2014 WRX. This WRX was a very good challenge for me. I forgot how much of a pain in the ass it was to install an AOS on a basically stock car, which there is nothing wrong with driving a stock car. I'm just saying, you guys know there's a lot more stuff in the way. Now leave a comment down below on what you guys wanna see next. We have a lot more engine builds coming up here at the shop at the Loft Performance. And if you guys need any work, make sure to hit us up on Instagram. I'll put the details down below in the comment section. Now coming up on Friday, I have a very exciting video that I'm going to be filming with my tuner up in LA, Sean Church from Church Automotive Testing. We are going to be sitting in on our first VA WRX. We're going to be doing a dyno tuning session. Maybe we'll get a little Q&A going, a little informal Q&A with Sean Church. It'll be really interesting, and that's something I'm going to be getting into this year, hopefully, is learning how to tune Subarus. That's something I want to do. I want to become the master engine builder as well as the tuner and bring a lot more Subarus that way to his shop. I think Sean is a fantastic guy, and I'm not just saying that because he watches my videos. I hold him in very high regard. He is a very intelligent person, and I think I can learn a lot from him, especially from somebody that's been in the industry for over 20 plus years. So if you guys want to see that content, make sure to hit the subscribe button, not the like button, but you guys can do that anyway. And I will catch you guys on the next one.